welcome to the Ariel Show. I'm so excited. I have the lovely Renee Phoenix of Fit for Rivals in living color right in front of me on my couch. And we're here to discuss something really fun today. We're going to talk about basically the reality of being a female in a male-dominated music industry.
Yes.
And hopefully do that in somewhat of a fresh way. So, how long have you been doing this?
Gosh, since probably 2006 is when I first started a band and everything, so for a good minute.
And you've been a chick the whole time, is this correct?
Yes.
The whole time.
The entire time.
So, was it a big deal? Like, did that even occur to you? Like, oh crap, I'm a chick, this might not work, or?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely just that going into it kind of stereotype of being lumped together with every female artist that's out there right now. It's like, oh, like Paramore, right? I think is the most common thing that I get. And like, no, not quite. Like, everyone has their own individual voice.
And I wouldn't even say not quite. For you guys, I feel like that is so far off the spectrum.
Yeah, I love Paramore. Like, don't get me wrong, I love it, but you know, everyone, like I said, like has their own voice and should all be like, you know, lumped together in a ball.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I would agree. That's probably one of the more frustrating things. Do you find that, like, how often does this come up? Like, is this on your radar, like, an issue, or is this just, I mean, it falls into the background, right? Like, you are who you are, that's not...
Yeah, like, it has come up. Like, we did a tour before this, and all the venues and everything, like, kept lumping us into, like, they just get all these, like, other girl groups to come and, like, play with us, like, constantly, and I'm just like... Alright, like, it's not just about that, you know what I mean? Like, guys can come and play with us, like, we have no problem with that, you know? Like, that's perfectly fine.
That is such a good point. It's like a marketing thing. Like, they try to do, like, female-friended rock, like, a whole night of it.
Right,
And the thing is, though, it kind of works a lot of the time. That's, it's like the double-edged sword of it.
Exactly.
It does. Like, people like to see chicks rocking out, whether that's, like, a bunch of sicko dudes, or whether it's chicks that want to be empowered and, like, inspired.
Right,
You get both ends of the spectrum, and I know that the promoters who are booking the shows, they want that. Like, do you think that's where the exploitation comes from then? Like,
I definitely...
people want to make a buck off the interest factor of it? And
I think so. I think so. Do you guys get that a lot too? Like, when you go on the road and everything? Like,
well, if you notice on this tour, so it's us and Fit for Rebels, and the promoters have gotten to choose individually the openers. I'd say more than half of them have been female-fronted.
Yeah.
And the thing is, nothing wrong with that. Like, I love seeing other female-fronted bands. Like, that's cool, but it's the same thing. It's kind of like, it catches you off guard. You're like, is this all we've got? Like, can we bring anything to the table besides the fact that there's a chick in the band?
Exactly. Like, it's about the music first and foremost. You know, and when it's just like, oh, there's a girl, and that's like the main focus, like, I can completely understand it, but at the same time, I think the most important thing at the end of the day, no matter you're a guy or a girl, it's about the music.
Yeah.
You know, and the connection that you make with the audience.
Totally.
So.
And you guys do an amazing job of that.
Thank you as well.
So your fans, you obviously have a really great fan base, which is awesome.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
They're wonderful. Wonderful. We've gotten to meet some of them on this tour. How can just fans in general of music, just fans of music, how can they be kind of knowledgeable about this issue and help it rather than, like, furthering the stereotype? Like, yes, females in music is a minority. That's fine. Like, hopefully it evens out at some point. But, like, as a listener, you know, listeners watching this, what is their role in this? You know?
I feel like just be open to guy and girlfriend bands. Like, don't just stick to, like, one little mix or something.
That's
you know
so
what I mean?
good.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there should just be an even playing field for everything. You know, whether you're a guy or a girl.
And maybe also being tactful with some of the comparisons, like when you come up to you, for example, after a show, not just be like, oh my god, I love you because it sounded just like blah blah blah. To say that a band sounds just like blah blah blah, it can feel like a compliment when you're saying it, but to the artist who's wanting to make something unique and like a special contribution to the world, it can feel like not quite a compliment. And of course, I'm sure you're gracious and you're like, thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes it is a compliment. Like, if someone says, oh, you remind me of Joan Jett, it's like, wow, she's like a rock god, and that's like great and everything. But like other times, it's just like, I'm trying to do something, you know, like unique, and I don't know. It is a double-edged sword. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah,
it really is.
I've thought about it a lot because I even asked the guys in our band earlier when we were preparing for this. I was like, do you think I Come For Her would have come as far as we had if I were a dude? And they were like, no. And it was like, I wish, for example, that me as a front person and my lyrics would stand strong enough on their own that without any kind of visual element.
Exactly.
I wish the band could hold its own. So I would never want to just be
you guys do that. I think you guys have really solid songs, and that's where it starts off with.
Yeah.
It's with the music, and I think you guys have really solid songs, so I think whether you're a guy or a girl, your band would have been exactly where it is, farther, wherever.
It's very kind.
So
on that same thing though, it's so important to never try, in the attempt to level the playing field, you never want to downplay your femininity unless like that's part of like who you are. It's all about being authentic. And so it would never be about trying to make people ignore or forget that we are female, because that would be the exact opposite. Like that's not empowerment at all. Of like I'm going to try to just forget who I am because I want people to take me seriously. Like no, we can be taken seriously as chicks in music. And we can be more than a gimmick, obviously. Like that shouldn't have to be said. That goes without saying that there's a lot more to offer than hey, look at me up on stage and you haven't seen a chick up on stage in a couple hours.
And I think it's important, like the subject that you're touching on right now, that it's good to embrace that we're females, but also not exploit ourselves, where it's just like, oh, I'm wearing kind of an outfit, and it's just like a little petite top or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you should be who you are, but not exploit yourself in a sexual manner to gain attention.
It's a really good way of putting it.
You know what I mean?
I've thought about that a lot, because there's a lot of females that I think are just really kick-ass, and I really think they're awesome, they're doing a lot of good stuff, but they're also not wearing a lot of clothes, and I try not to let that diminish what I think of them. But if somebody, for example, like you, is a little bit like more just like respectful of themselves in that way, that's just like extra cool points for you. Then I'm just like, oh, cool, she's got it going on.
I'm a tomboy. And you know what I mean? So I just try to be myself as much as possible and kind of go with that.
And I love that we kind of have that counter, because you're obviously a lot more tomboy. You're just like rocking the jeans and the tank tops, and I'm much more like dressing up in pink and corsets. And that's a really awesome spectrum to have in one show. Because then people aren't going to think that you have to do it one way or another. It's just be yourself.
Exactly.
Go out there and do your thing.
I really enjoy touring with you guys because it's a very nice parallel.
It's good balance.
Yeah, it's a very good balance.
Oh my gosh, we were just like born to tour together. Okay, so one of the reasons I think Renee and I were inspired to do this episode is because we get so many girls that come up to us after the shows that really they want our job. They want to do what we're doing. And every time I always try to kind of push them in the direction of like do what you were born to do, like create your unique art rather than follow someone else's footsteps. Like what do you say to them? Like what's your message to them? Do you feel a sense of responsibility to females who want to be musicians because you're there? Or?
In a sense, yes. Like my biggest thing is be yourself. Whatever you want to do, you know, just make sure that at the end of the day you can go sleep at night and be like, you know what, I'm happy with today. I'm happy with everything that I did. You know? So I think at the end of the day, as long as you're happy with yourself and proud of what you're doing, that's what matters most.
Totally. Love it. And that's self-love, which is something that I'm super passionate about. We were talking just the other night about how many kids we get coming up showing us their scars or how long they've been clean, and music is obviously a huge tool for that. Is that something that's like extra important to you?
It's very important to me. Like just last night I had a girl come up to me. She's like, look, you know, like I haven't, you know, cut myself or anything in this amount of time. And it's like, I'm so proud of you. Like there's so many other ways to deal with stress or anything that you have going on and hurting yourself. You're only making the problem worse at the end of the day. You know, you just have to love yourself. That's all you can do, you know what I mean? You gotta do that. But it's definitely, I mean, it's an honor to perform for these kids and have them come up to me and be like, oh, you know, you've saved my life through music. It makes it worth it at the end of the day. It really does.
So I totally agree with you. Very well put.
Thank
you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Dude. So awesome. How lucky are you viewers that you get to sit down with the lovely Renee as well. So thank you again. Everyone please subscribe right here. We are currently on tour. We'll be on tour for about another week.
There's a bunch.
So come out and see us. We will be doing what? Springfield, Dallas, Houston. I think there's probably a few more. Look it up online. And be sure to follow us both so that way if we ever tour again, you'll get to see us. We love you so much. Bye.
Thank you.